Kuroko's Basketball Street Rival is going to come out in 3 days' time. So let's do a quick video so you guys know everything to do and also not do on day one. So the biggest question on people's mind is probably going to be whether or not you want to reroll. Now, rerolling in this game, obviously the game is not officially out, so a lot of the things I am going to say is going to be based on the JP and also Chinese version of this game. But the way it works is that you would be able to have a guest account, and within that guest account, you can actually connect to 6 or 7 servers within the same account. So in some sense, with one, let's say, Apple account or one Google Play account, you would actually be able to have 6 or 7 times rerolling because you would just be able to connect to different servers within the same account. So on that note, it's not that tedious, but what's really annoying for rerolling in this game is more the rate. It's going to be incredibly low, okay? So if you actually take a look at the rate in this game, what you notice is the rate for each single summon is only going to be 0.02%, okay? Now that's really, really low. I have actually just started a brand new JP account, and I initially progress as far as possible in the story mode, because story mode you can actually auto farm it, so it's somewhat easy. But even within that, I was only able to gather 1.8k diamonds, okay? 1.8k diamonds, the temple is only 580, so that basically means that's only 3 multis, in which case it's only going to be 0.6% chance of getting this crystal, which you can then exchange for any character of your choice. So rerolling for this game is going to be very, very time consuming because of the fact how low the rate is, okay? Now, of course, global can actually start potentially with some better rewards and better gems, or maybe even free tickets, etc. So maybe you actually end up having, I don't know, let's say if you are able to do 5 multi, that would be a 1% chance of actually getting that character. But still, 1% chance is ridiculously low, okay? So it's going to be up to you guys whether or not you want to spend the time to actually reroll. There's also another possibility, which is that global is not going to start off with just the standard banner, but they're also going to introduce a brand new character outside of standard banner as well. And if you want to reroll that kind of like a brand new character which is outside the standard banner, it's going to be even more tedious, because the very big likelihood is that for those kind of games, for those kind of characters, when they're first introduced, so in their kind of introduction banner rather than in the standard pool, even though you can still summon them, you are limited to only buying 10 summons for that character or for that banner, okay? So you can only buy 10 summons with your gems. Every other tickets that you want to actually summon for, you can only buy it with the paid vouchers. So that basically means if you actually want to reroll for one of those characters which are not in standard banner, you literally only have 10 pulls that you're able to do. So no matter how much gems you can farm, you only have a 10 pull chance of actually summoning for it. So that's once again going to be very, very annoying considering how low the rate is. But take that however you want. If you guys really want to spend ages to reroll for an account just so you have the best possible start, then it can be, I mean, it can be done. It's just be prepared. It could take you an awful long time. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be on the rerolling process. Next thing is going to be which characters do you want to start off with. Now, first of all, I'm not 100% sure which characters are going to be available on global launch. Now, if it's any similar to the Chinese version launch, which only happened a year ago, what's going to happen is that we will have the base version of the Generation of Miracle. So once a base version is that, you can see for a lot of characters, they actually have 3 versions. There's a base version, there's a zone version, and then there's also a last game version. So what's going to happen is that we could possibly end up getting all of the base version of the Generation of Miracles available in standard banner straight away. And there may even be some kind of like beginner events where after completing all of the missions, you are able to get 1 free copy of them, for example. Okay, so that's one thing we could be looking forward to. Another thing is that if it's anything like the Chinese version, we're also going to get Zone Kagami as the premium character, which is not in standard banner, and therefore, like I said, you're only limited to 10 free summons for that character. Okay, so that could also be a possibility. Now, depending on, I mean, obviously this is anime-based game, so in some sense you probably want to play your favorite characters, so there's nothing wrong with that. But let's say if you actually want to be somewhat competitive with this game, my general recommendation is actually that you want to focus on one of the 5 positions and just specialize in that position. So rather than deciding which character are the best, it's probably more better for you to decide which position you enjoy playing the most. For example, if you're a center, you'll probably vast majority of the time be sitting under the basket. You have to be very prepared to go go for all of the rebounds, and for any kind of like enemy dunks and layup, you have to be 100% sure you will be able to block them. Okay, so that's kind of, for example, the playstyle of a center. And then, for example, the playstyle of a point guard, for example, is that you need to be aware of your surroundings, so you know exactly which one of your teammates would be open, so that you pass the ball to them at the right timing. For shoot guard, for example, it's about creating opportunities and also sometimes just distracting the enemy and just draw the enemy attention to yourself in order to free up the opportunity for your teammates, etc. Okay, so all of the positions, they have different ways of playing, and a lot of time, rather than just going straight for the character that you like the most, it may also be worth thinking about which character you actually, or which position you will enjoy playing the most, or which ones you'll be best at, and then just go with the position first, and then deciding on the character within that position. Okay, so that would be my recommendation, especially if you have never played this kind of game before. Then I will probably recommend on day one or on the first few days of the game, just try out over the positions and see which ones you actually enjoy playing the most. The other benefit of trying to specialize in just one position is the fact that later on you will also be able to unlock modes such as this one, which is like potential and also trade system, which basically are like equipments that you put on your characters to further specialize their stats. Now, obviously, if you actually happen to diversify all of your character across multiple positions, it's going to be hard for you to build those potential sets, because then you need to prepare one set for each character. Whereas if you specialize in just one position, or maybe there's a two positions which are very similar, so for example center and also power forward, a lot of them are all gonna have like rebounding skills, so as a result you are at least able to make sure some of your potential sets can be reused depending on which characters you are likely to play as well. Okay, so that's kind of why it's going to be important for you to figure out what's going to be your main play style and which positions that you want, and then consider which characters you actually want to play for. Okay, so reroading and also choosing which position to specialize in, those are kind of like the broad direction you need to know to, you know, which direction your account need to head towards. But in terms of all of the nitty gritty of what you want to do on day one, it's all gonna be to do with this beginner event. Okay, so there should be one event available on global where it gives you the option to choose one character out of the three, and once you chose that character, what's gonna happen is that you get one free copy of that character, or if you already gotten that character before, then it'll be converted into a awakening dupe instead. And now once you have chosen that characters and gotten their free copies, what's going to happen is that you unlock lots of missions where you are then able to further get resources for level up that character. Okay, now this is very important because in this game it actually takes time and also resources to level up a character, and basically this event gives you the fastest way and also the cheapest way of getting one character quickly to a playable level. So that's kind of why it's very important for you to choose one character of your choice, and then basically that's going to be your go-to character for the first few days in the game. Now, in terms of which character you want to choose, first of all, I don't know which characters will be available on global. The three characters here are actually different on every single server so far, so I have no idea what's going to be like on global. But once again, you probably want to go for positions rather than the characters anyway. So once you decide which position you want to specialize in, just choose character from that position. Now, once you have that, then obviously that will be your go-to character for the first few days in the game, because you'll be easily able to level them up. And then while you are doing that, you can then play around, have a try on all of the other characters in order to decide which other character kind of suits your playstyle, so that you can then know which character to save out for, or save or invest in, etc. Okay, so that's going to be what you want to do straight away when you basically have free control of the game. Basically just pick that character and specialize in them. There are also going to be a bunch of other beginner events that you can also do. For example, this one should also be available on global. I'm not sure which free character we'll be getting on the JP versions to count, but it could be someone else as well for global. But basically, once again, there are a bunch of different events and missions that you can complete, and eventually probably around day 6 or so, if you have actually completed everything, you might be able to get a free copy of character as well, and that will just give you more flexibility in terms of your team building. So when you go into matches, you have more choices to choose from as well. Okay, so those are all the things you want to do on day one. Now, if you are someone who have played this kind of games before, so for example, if you already play games like Slam Dunk Mobile or Dunk City Dynasty, you can probably go straight into the ranked game because you're already very familiar with the mechanics, etc. If you're a brand new player, I would still recommend you guys to do the tutorial, because they are actually quite helpful, and also the tutorial gives you some small rewards as well, so eventually you have to do them. You might as well do them at the beginning. There's also one other another game mode which I do recommend as well because it's kind of quite important for this game, and that's going to be here. I think it'll be this one, which is going to be a blocking challenge. So once again, you get reward for it, but basically this can actually allow you to practice with block timing, and blocking is kind of the bread and butter in this game. So once again, if you never have any experience with this kind of games before, those kind of tutorial like game contents are actually going to be quite helpful on day one. Okay, last thing I'll cover in this video is going to be where to spend your diamonds. Now, diamonds is kind of the universal currency in this game and can be used in loads of different ways, but there's kind of only three that really stood out to me, and everything else I feel like is a bit of a trap, okay? So the three ways where you can spend your diamonds was going to be number one, is going to be in the gacha system. So basically, this is just for you to quickly build out the pity so that you can exchange any character of your choice, okay? Then the option number two, what you can do is you want to go into the shop and you want to use your diamonds to buy the talent card for a different character. Now for this one, be careful because the lower rarity characters, you can actually buy their talent card with a different type of resources without using the diamonds, okay? So for the lower rarity, definitely do not spend diamonds for them. However, for the higher rarity characters such as Generation Miracles, etc., you can only buy their talent cards with diamonds. So that's kind of why it's going to be also important for you to buy their diamonds here. So buy their talent card using diamonds here. There's also going to be a limit of 15 times per week. So if you do actually want to play a character, you need to kind of start preparing for the talent card for that character in advance as well. Okay, so that's going to be the second way of where you can spend your diamond. And third approach is going to be in the potential system. Now this one might be it doesn't sound as flashy as trying to get a character and or upgrading their skills using talent cards, etc. But the reality is this is kind of the most transferable resource in the game, in the sense that if you have lots of different characters, but let's say you are switching between them because they have been power crab or you just don't like that character anymore and you want to choose a different character, the potential system is probably the only thing that's actually transferable, and that makes it valuable long term. And even early on, the potential, in my opinion, is also arguably more important than some of the characters, because in the potential system, it's not just about the potential themselves. There's also a memory system which you also get from the same kind of summoning where you spend your diamonds in. And for those kind of memories, you can equip up to 3 memories for each character. And unless you actually dump some diamonds onto them, it's actually going to be quite hard for you to get 3 memories which are suitable for your character. And in those kind of cases, those memories do actually make a big difference in the matches themselves. So it can actually also be worth it to spend some diamonds early on in the potential system just for you to obtain all of those 3 memory cards, so that at least your character are fully optimized in terms of the potential system. Okay, so those are going to be the main things that I would recommend you guys to spend diamonds in. Now there isn't really a right or wrong answer. It's more going to be depending on what you want to focus for. Obviously something for character and their talent card is good, but you kind of need to have a target in your head. So for example, which character you want to focus for, and also be prepared those kind of investment may not be so easy redirected elsewhere. Whereas for the potential system, it's a bit more universal, but obviously it doesn't really change. For example, it doesn't give you a brand new character for you to play with, so it may not be as fun on paper, but at the end of the day, all 3 are valid approaches. So it's more going to be up to you guys to decide what you want to do with your diamonds. But yeah, that's going to be all of the advice I'll have for you guys for the first few days of the game. Hopefully I'll have covered everything, but if you guys do have any questions, then do let me know in the comment section.